Howdy do, everybody. It is Friday. Happy Friday. I know a lot of America has a little cold front, so hopefully you guys are bundled up, sitting by the fire, ready to make some money. This is Back to School, featuring your two favorite handicappers named Scott that work for winnersandwhiners.com. I'm one of those. I'm Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
There you go. And if you guys are new, we do this every single Friday. We get together, put our three best picks up against each other, mano y mano, which, you know what that means, Scott?
Hand for a hand, one-on-one.
Yeah, very good. Everybody uses it as a substitute for man-to-man, but that's not what it is. It's hand.
I took Spanish for a couple of years, so it's good to know that it wasn't a total waste. You know.
Yeah, I think I've got 13 hours of college Spanish, and I can barely order in a Mexican restaurant. So, yeah, mano a mano, hand to hand. We're ready to go at it, and both had pretty good weeks last week, Scott. We both went 2-1 as it was. You had your downfall was the first quarter. Under in the Mizzou.
First half went under, full game went under, first quarter went over. It was just unfortunate, but whatever.
You had the under 9.5, and that did not quite get home, but you did better on your others. You had Air Force Army under. That's just like here.
I still can't believe that was in the 40s.
That's just free money. Sure, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. And you had Arizona State team total over 27.5. Well done, sir. I, on the other hand, was smart enough to take the Mizzou Kentucky full game under 40. Interesting into that game, Scott.
You were almost screwed there from the punter, but he saved you in the end.
Roughing the punter on the 45-yard over snap. My God. So we got home there. We had Iowa plus 3.5 over Purdue. No need for those points as the Hawkeyes just dominated the Boilers. And my downfall was the Tennessee-Georgia over 65, Scott. They probably weren't going to get there anyway, but then the rain started. At halftime, the monsoon came, and any small shot we might have had went bye-bye. And in our Bet the Farm play, we faded the great Mark Lawrence, Scott.
Mm-hmm. We tried to fade a trend since, I don't know, the French-Indian War? I don't know. His trends from like 400 years ago, and that ended up working out for him, not for us, as BYU got to the window and actually won the game against Boise, which wasn't shocking. But
Boise pretty much no-showed there. So that takes us to you still have a one-game lead, 18-12 on the season. That works out to 60%. That's just fine. Nothing wrong with that, sir. That'll make you money. I am one game back, 17-13. 56.7. 56 is always my target. You know, 52.38 is what you need to be profitable.
That's assuming minus 110. We're going to throw in a couple of random 120s and stuff like that. So
you are, but
the point is that usually we aim for, at least I aim for like 55.
Yeah, 55, 56 will take you there. You know, it ain't 55 or 56. It's our farm play, Scott. We've gone below 500 for the first time this season. 4-5. We got to rally, buddy. So overall, I think we're 55.7% for the show. So that's nothing wrong with that. We're grinding it out for you guys, and we've got 3 brand new ones for each of us here today, as well as a Bet the Farm play. Scott, did you have anything to say?
I actually do. Losers walk.
Oh, there you go. All right, walking I shall. You know, I do an NFL show with my kid on his little podcast thing, and he plays
The Machine.
Yeah, I do the show with it. Steen versus the Machine has made a return appearance after a year hiatus, and he plays Make It Take It. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I have to remember which show I'm doing, but I will start off with in the Big Ten, taking a look at this Illinois team as they host the Purdue Boilermakers. Illinois laying 6.5. I like the Illini here, Scotty. They are the best scoring defense in college football. Who would have guessed that? Did you know that?
I did not know that. They didn't look like it last week against Michigan State, but I know that they have been good defensively.
They did not. They are giving up just 11.8 points per game. And number 4 defense in passing yards per game, and that is what you look at when you're playing Purdue. Even better, they are number 2 in passing yards per attempt defense, and that's what I look at, because this Boilermakers team is a team that wants to play through the air. You should be able to turn them not quite one-dimensional, because they're still going to throw the ball, but they should be able to contain that passing attack. Chase Brown, know him, live it, Love it, Scott. That'll be the Chiefs' #1 draft pick next year, I'm sure, for no apparent reason. Are you impressed with Chase Brown? 9 straight 100-yard games?
I have to. I'm hoping he actually has an NFL career longer than 2 years because they're running him into the ground in college, but he's been very good this season.
Yeah, they really are. He leads the country in rushing yards, 1344, but more importantly, rushing attempts at 257. That is
I'm assuming it's not even close. He's got to be ahead by a decent margin at this point.
Just wearing that kid out. The problem last week against Michigan State, unable to convert on 4th down. They went for it 6 times, made it just once. 3 of the times they did it, they were within field goal range. So the gambles did not pay off. They also had a terrible punt of 5 yards that led to a touchdown. I think that's an anomaly. I think they get back on the right side of the ledger. Faded Purdue last week. It worked out. We're going to fade them again this week with arguably a better team. Take Illinois -6.5.
Purdue also not great against the run. So you're assuming Brown could easily go for 150, maybe even 200 in this game. Absolutely. And Illinois' defense should force some turnovers. So, yeah, I don't mind that. Should be a nice get-right spot for Illinois.
Agreed. What do you got, buddy?
So for this one, I am going to go fading one of your favorite teams. I'm going to take Baylor on the money line at -134 on FanDuel. Spread was 2.5. I think this game's going to be very close. So maybe you might see a little bit of point spread hijinks. You could probably take the 2.5 too, but I played it safe. A couple reasons why I like Baylor in this spot. First reason, it's a classic spot of an unranked team favored over a ranked team. So I do think, historically speaking, that trend has done very well for us on this show. But Baylor has been really, really good at running the ball. The Bears are averaging 204.5 rushing yards per game against FBS competition, which ranks 17th. A lot of different running backs as well. They've been rotating guys in and out, and it really has not mattered. Kansas State has been awful against the run lately. Gave up 215 to TCU, and then faced off against Bijan Robinson last week. Gave up 200 plus to him, gave up 269 in total. I think Baylor's just going to dominate up front in this game, and that's going to be the real story, not to mention the home crowd over there at Baylor. But Baylor's won each of the last 4 meetings in the head-to-head, and Baylor's also 9-2 ATS in its last 11 home games. Kansas State might have been a team that overachieved a bit early on this season. They're still a decent team, but I do think after Texas ran it down their throat before Sarkisian tried to blow another 21-point lead, I just think Baylor's the better team right now. I think they'll dominate up front, and I'll take them at home. I think Aranda's also a really good coach. Give me Baylor on the money line.
Yeah, I'm as a K-State fan, I'm definitely worried about that. Game.
The run defense just fell apart for Kansas State.
I'm not sure and that was stunning because that defense has been outstanding all season. But yeah, didn't get it done there against Texas. The TCU is kind of an anomaly because they could get nothing going, and that's they were able to take care of business there. I'm going to stay in the Big 12. And I'm going to continue playing undervalued defensive teams. Iowa State against Oak State down there in Stillwater. I'm going to play the total here, Scott, under 48.5. It's Iowa State defense. Talked about them last week, rather. Number 9 scoring defense, and they have been a consistent under team, especially against Power 5 schools, 6-1 to the under. And only one of those games they played against the Power 5 school has gone over 45. All of a sudden, this Cowboys offense is in the deep freeze. Last 2 games, they've not done well in the state of Kansas, putting up nada against K-State and just 16 against KU, not exactly known for their defense.
Well, the reason's pretty simple, but still.
Well, it was you had a win game last week, and
I just meant Sanders not playing last week.
Well, that's also very true, and I know he'll be back.
Their backup is not very good.
I'm not sure that makes the difference. I think you're more enamored of Sanders than I am.
I'm not saying he's a great player. I'm just saying the drop off, especially early in the season, Sanders was really, really good. And that's why the offense exploded for the first couple games. But It's really just about, if you want to use the war term in baseball for college football, especially, a lot of teams have really, really awful backup quarterbacks compared to the starter. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't like Sanders, he's significantly better than the backup quarterback. And it's not even close.
Yeah, that's the case in a lot of places. I'll play the under 48.5 there. It's not going to be a weather factor down there in Stillwater, but I still think this game is going to play slowly. I think they're going to both want to run the ball, and I'll take the under 48.5.
Yeah, I thought about maybe taking Iowa State as a favorite. I think -1. I thought about that potentially as a play. Mm-hmm. I still don't really like Iowa State. I like the defense. I'm not sold on the offense, so I do like the under. Oklahoma State's defense isn't great, but Iowa State takes so long to score anyway that I'm not sure if it's going to matter. Right. I just think possessions are going to be limited here. So I agree with you on the under.
All right, very good.
So I'm going to move on to the ACC, and I'm going to fade a team on senior night, actually. I'm going to fade Syracuse. I'm going to take Florida State minus the 7 at minus 107 on Bet Online. You indirectly faded a team with a backup quarterback. I'm directly going to fade a team with a backup quarterback because Schrader, who had a very good start to the year, kind of struggled a bit lately, but still, he is injured, and he might not play in this one, according to reports from Babers. It seems like they're kind of anticipating him not to play. He was being cryptic about it. He didn't want to give away too much, but it seemed like he wasn't exactly confident in Schrader's ability to get back for this game.
Is he hour to hour like Josh Allen?
Could be. I think Allen has no chance of playing, by the way, this week. That's a separate story. I mean, when you hear the words Tommy John, it's like he's questionable. I don't think you're playing the next week, but that's a separate story.
Well, this is the second time he's had that injury. He missed 4 games last time with the UCL.
I don't think he's going to play. But either way, Schrader, I don't think he's going to play either. And the backup quarterback, Del Rio Wilson, started last week against Pittsburgh, and he was no bueno. Went 8 for 23 for 120 passing yards. Syracuse scored 9 points. The team was just awful. They couldn't move the ball. Florida State, though, been playing better lately. They had a bit of a midseason funk there against good teams. Lost to Wake Forest, lost to Clemson, beat Georgia Tech by 25. I mean, Georgia Tech stinks, but still nice win there. And killed Miami. Miami's awful, but they won by 42 points on the road. Like, that's a good rivalry win there. I think Florida State's kind of flying high confidence-wise. But Syracuse has fallen off a cliff. They've lost a couple of games in a row after a very hot start. It's really just about the backup quarterback and how I think that Rio Wilson is actually awful. And Syracuse in the last 3 games, allowing 233.3 rushing yards per game. They can't stop the run. Florida State has 2 or 3 running backs that they actually like, and I think Travis is a lot better than the backup quarterback for Syracuse, and Travis can run a bit. I think Florida State runs it down their throat. If they're going to score 9 points against Pitt, I don't think they're going to score more than 14 or 17 in this game. And Florida State offensively does have weapons and speed. Give me Florida State minus 7.
Hurricanes have had a great year in Florida, but unfortunately not the Hurricanes football team.
They've been more of a tropical storm this year.
Yeah, they've been a tropical depression is what they've been.
They have been, but I'm just looking at a spot where I'm going to fade a team with a backup quarterback. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's a solid strategy. You look at the
8 for 23. Like, that's bad.
They're just awful. All right, I'm going to take a look in Conference USA, Scott. USA. Can I get a little Mean Green love? How about North Texas +6 going up against the Blazers of UAB? Mean Green, everybody kind of stopped paying attention to them. They had to kind of struggle to start the season, but they have been good in conference play. 5-1, and CUSA plays 6-0 straight up. Both these teams like to rush the football. Both of them are top 20 in yards per attempt. The difference is North Texas can actually throw the ball. Blazers have been overvalued most of the season, and lately especially. They've lost 3 straight, failed to cover their last 4. I think this is a great spot for North Texas. Not even sure the right team is favored here, Scott, but I'll gladly gobble up the 6 points. Give me North Texas +6.
Yeah, UAB is solely coasting in reputation. They lost to UTSA, lost to Western Kentucky, 2 good teams. The loss to Florida Atlantic's definitely not great. But I feel like they're overvalued because Clark was a very good head coach. And you just assume that one of the understudies will pick up the job and they'll hit the ground running. We've seen it with Lafayette as well. Just because the assistant takes over doesn't mean he has anywhere near the amount of overall head coaching talent as the previous guy.
App State.
I don't think UAB's coach is that good.
Yep.
Can we say that?
Yeah, I mean,
Clark was really, really good.
I know. They had that team overachieving every season.
Yeah.
Kind of been the same situation with App State, where they've gone from not quite an elite program, kind of an elite group of 5 school, but they've had some non-competitive games that have surprised me this season. So,
and North Texas also was a bit funny because they gave up 58 points to UNLV in like the second game of the year. Right. And that was the ultimate sign of, listen, if you don't get it together, I'm gonna have to cut half you from the roster. And they all just picked it up after that. But no, North Texas has been good, and UAB's fallen off a cliff. So I like the play. I think North Texas has a shot to win the game.
Yeah, I agree. All right, very good. And you got a final pick there, buddy?
Yep, going to go to the late night special there in the Mountain West. Going to take a look at San Jose State -2.5 at -115 on DraftKings against San Diego State. San Diego State, speaking of teams that have fallen from grace, they're not exactly a good football team, but I'm looking at San Jose State, and they've been quietly really good lately. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. Each win has been by at least 7 points. Now, San Diego State did win 3 of its last 4 games, but it only beat Hawaii by 2. And it only beat UNLV by 4. It's one thing UNLV, they were better this year. Brumfield was back. They scored 14 points against UNLV and 16 points against Hawaii. Yeah. Like, this team offensively is an absolute train wreck. And San Jose State's actually a very good defensive team. San Jose State is averaging 4.3 sacks per game. It sounds like a lot. It is. It's actually number 1 in the country. So this team could get after the quarterback. And San Diego State, unlike most years, has struggled a bit running the ball. But San Diego State's defense is decent. The issue is they really have a hard time against the pass. And it works well for San Jose State because they can throw the ball very well with Cordero behind center, averaging 285.1 passing yards per game. And San Diego State is allowing 237.5 passing yards per game, which ranks 72nd. So I think San Jose State should be able to throw the ball against this defense. I don't trust San Diego State's defense at all. And to go through some other numbers here, San Diego State is home. That's not necessarily a good thing because they are 1-4 ATS in their last 5 home games. I just think San Jose State's been an undervalued team for a couple of years. Cordero's looked really good since he made the transfer from Hawaii. I'll take the better team -2.5 against an offense that can't score against Hawaii.
All right, very good. I wish you luck. The San Jose State team has burned me.
They burned you, but you also took them laying a bunch of points. They win a lot of ugly games because they're a good defensive team.
Yeah.
But San Diego State, if they fall behind 7, that's like 17 for most teams. They really just can't score.
No, that's that offense has been consistently dreadful all season long, and the defense has taken, I wouldn't say a huge step backwards, but a definite step backwards.
It's noticeable, though, because the defense can bail out how bad the offense is anyway.
Right. You're giving up 32 to Fresno, 35 to Boise. Those were unheard of in the last couple of seasons. So they've really made hay against bad teams, 14 against Hawaii, 7 against Nevada, 10 against UNLV. Yippee. That tells me absolutely nothing.
If San Jose State scores 20 or 21, which I think they're capable of, I don't think San Diego State's going to score more than 17 in this game. That's why the total's like 40 at this point. Total is like 41. So they're expecting San Diego State to do nothing. I think San Jose can actually move the ball a bit in this game.
I agree. All right. Very good. Of course, I don't know what that's worth. My read on San Jose State, probably not the best, but I don't hate that at all. So, all right,
and I like their coach a lot. So
solid. All right, buddy. Well, now there's just one thing left to do, and that's try to turn this ship around. And we're ready to do it. We're going to do it a little different with the hats today.
We keep rotating until something works.
That's right. That's right. So let's get ready. As always, it's Friday. You know what that means, guys. It is time to put on your overalls and get your lucky overalls. Quit putting those dirty overalls on. Get your nice, clean, lucky overalls on. Leave one strap down. I don't care. It's go casual Friday. Put your straw hat on. Climb aboard your John Deere. Get your keys out. Put them in. Get ready to fire that bad boy up because, kids, once again, it is time to bet the farm. All right. So this time I'm wearing the hat, ma'am. Afternoon. To see you down here at the general store. I'm wearing the hat today, Scott. You're not wearing the hat. It's gonna totally change our luck and get off the schneid.
It means you're reading the bullet points because you're wearing the hat.
What's that?
You're reading the bullet points today because you're the farmer of the group.
I was going to suggest that. That's very good. So, yeah, let's take a look this week. Heading to the SEC, my friend. Mississippi State goes up against UGA, and we've got a very definite opinion on this. We think Mississippi State's going to have a long day. We're going to take Mississippi State team total under 18.5. You guys know the drill on this Georgia team. They are allowing just 187.9 passing yards per game against FBS competition. As 18th in the nation, did a nice job of shutting down Hendon Hooker last week. And that's what Mississippi State wants to do. They want to throw the ball. And Georgia, gave up just 289 to the Volunteers. And
garbage time as well. So it was around 200 for a decent portion of that game.
Yeah, and that includes some garbage time there. Tennessee, very high-powered offense, 4th in the nation. And Georgia ranks 6th in time of possession. TOP, very important, because if the other team ain't on the field, they ain't going to score. Mississippi State, they can be run on, giving up over 150 yards rushing per game. That is 70th in the country. That is the bottom 40% or so. And if you want to look at some trends, how about the unders 4-0 in Georgia's last 4 road games? Spoiler alert, that ain't because Georgia's not scoring. It's because they're holding their opponents to absolutely nothing. We like this, Scott. We're going to play the team total. We haven't played a team total for a farm yet this year, and we're going to start off right here. So our farm play is going to be the Mississippi State Bulldogs under 18.5 against Georgia at -120.
And we did take an under with Mississippi State earlier this season for a full game. We took their under against Bama. That game went under by about 20-something points. But the Bama game is a perfect example of what's wrong with Mike Leach's offense, because year in, year out, they put up a bunch of nice counting stats against bad defenses. And as soon as they face off against elite athletes, the offense does nothing. And Georgia's secondary and overall defense is probably the best in the country. So if you can only score 6 on a buzzer beater touchdown against Bama, they got shut out for the first 59 minutes and change. I don't exactly think they're going to move the ball that well against Georgia. To go over this number, you need basically 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Mississippi State's kicking game has not been great all year long. I think Georgia's defense just gets ready to roll here. You could argue that it's a look-ahead spot. I don't know if I agree with that. Georgia's trying to run the table at this point. I think Mississippi State's up against a buzzsaw.
No, every one of these games is important to Georgia, Scott. I think we're past look-ahead spots for that Georgia team. So.
Also, it could be like last year. You want to run the table because if you hypothetically lose in the conference championship game, you're still going to the playoffs. So you can't afford to slip up here. You want the extra buffer going into the conference title game.
Yeah, you want to have that. You want to have that mulligan barrier. Yeah. No question about it. So that's going to be the farm play. Mississippi State under 18.5. Just to recap here, I've got Illinois -6.5. I've got the Iowa State, Oklahoma State under 48.5, and we have North Texas +6 in the battle of the green teams. There, I'll take the mean green over UAB.
So I'm going to go with Baylor on the money line at -134. Could take the -2.5, but I'm going to play it safe. Going to take Florida State -7 at -107 on Bet Online, and I'm going to take San Jose State -2.5 at -115 on DraftKings.
All right, and that's going to do it for the show, guys. As always, we appreciate you checking us out. Don't forget to tell your friends. Don't forget to check out me and Scott as we do our daily picks. Scott, I know you've been running pretty well. I kind of had an up and down week. Took a couple of premium bad beats here last couple of days on NBA unders that have gone to overtime, but
they don't call it undertime.
They don't call it undertime, baby. So we're ready to get back on it there. So make sure you check out all that good stuff, as well as the other great handicappers at Winners and Winers. And, of course, we just dropped our 10th episode of Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, so make sure you check that out. Had a lot of fun this week as we roasted Michael Thomas quite a bit and the New Orleans Saints in general. So for me, for Scott, for the rest of us, you guys have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck on all of your plays, college, pros, NBA, college basketball, whatever you got cooking. Let's go make some money, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.